Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're a young professional right now, well, I want you to consider this your very own private mentorship session. You've worked incredibly hard to get where you are, and you are finally earning that steady paycheck, which is awesome. But how exactly do you translate that monthly direct deposit into lasting generational wealth? Well, today we are basically stepping into the shoes of a financial advisor to completely demystify the actual architecture of building wealth. All right, let's quickly run through our game plan today. We've got 4 main steps. 1. Understanding true value. 2. Growth versus value investing. 3. The power of leverage. And 4. The psychology of wealth. Let's get right into it. Let me ask you a question right off the bat. Are you currently trading your time for money? Most of us, we start our careers doing exactly this. 1 hour of work literally equals a fraction of a paycheck. But here's the brutal truth. Absolutely nobody gets an unlimited supply of time. That 1-to-1 ratio, it puts a hard mathematical ceiling on your financial freedom. To break through that ceiling, we need a serious paradigm shift. Which brings us to part 1, understanding true value, moving beyond the paycheck. Okay, let's completely redefine what it means to capture wealth. Check out this comparison. On one hand, you have a shiny yellow rock. If you pick it up, well, it's just a rock. We call it gold, sure, but it only holds value because society collectively agrees it does, mostly just because it's rare. Now, contrast that with starting a business or investing in a massive one like Apple. Steve Jobs created massive intrinsic value by actually solving real communication and computing problems for millions of people. Value creation, not just perceived scarcity, is the real engine of wealth. See, all money is made by providing value, but your income scales absolutely dramatically when you hit certain levers. Think about it. If you create a standard diet plan helping someone lose 5 pounds in a year, okay, that's worth a little bit. But what if you step up and solve a much larger problem? What if you deliver that solution way faster, say in 10 weeks? What if you make the process super easy, entirely guarantee the results, and intentionally target customers who actually have capital, like busy, high-earning executives? If you hit those specific levers, you can charge an absolute premium. Moving on to part 2, growth versus value investing, choosing your game. All right, so once you've created value and grabbed it as cash, you desperately need an investment engine. Just letting your cash sit idly in a basic checking account means inflation is just going to quietly steal your future purchasing power. You have to invest. And here we see the 2 major camps of the stock market. On the left, we've got growth investing. This is all about finding those young, scrappy companies expected to expand rapidly. Huge potential returns, but way higher risk. On the right is value investing. This is where you're picking established companies that are currently trading for less than they're actually worth. Now remember, there's no right or wrong strategy here. They're just completely different games played by different investors based on what kind of risk they can stomach. So for value investors, the whole point is looking for market overreactions. You see, the stock market is incredibly emotional. People panic sell on a dime when bad news hits. But value investors, they do the math. They find the actual intrinsic value of a company, its true underlying worth based on future cash flows, and they just swoop in. They buy up excellent assets when the rest of the market has temporarily underestimated them. All right, part 3, the power of leverage, accelerating your wealth. We've talked about creating value and investing, but think of leverage kind of like upgrading your trusty bicycle for a high-performance sports car. It is absolutely going to get you to your destination way faster. But if you crash, the damage is going to be far, far more severe. By definition, leverage means using borrowed money or multiplied resources to boost your potential return. Whether that's borrowing from a bank for real estate or trading on margin, leverage dramatically amplifies your potential gains. But, and this is a massive but, it equally amplifies your potential losses. It demands serious respect. Let's look at how this stacks up into the ultimate leverage pyramid. At the very base, you have labor. Hiring employees to do the work for you. It definitely works, but managing people is tough. In the middle, there's capital, using borrowed or invested money to make more money. But right there at the very top, we have the highest forms of modern leverage, code and media, writing software, or hey, recording an explainer like this. It scales infinitely while you are fast asleep. It costs practically nothing to replicate, and the best part, you don't need absolutely anyone's permission to multiply your effort. Yet, even if you have the absolute smartest value investing strategy and the most insane code and media leverage, you still need the ultimate multiplier, and that is time. Wealth isn't built in days, it's built in decades. There is literally no greater force in wealth building. Money sitting quietly in an investment doesn't just grow, it multiplies, slowly at first, and then totally exponentially. which leads us perfectly into part 4, the psychology of wealth, the math versus the mind. Because getting wealthy requires risk and optimism, right? But staying wealthy, that requires a completely different skill set. We're talking caution, humility, and serious emotional control. Look at this fantastic quote from Morgan Housel. Aiming to be mostly reasonable works better than trying to be coldly rational. It perfectly captures the human element of money. A totally rational, spreadsheet-optimized financial plan is literally useless if your human emotions cause you to panic and sell everything during a 30% market dip. Your spreadsheet doesn't feel fear, you do. You've got to build a strategy you can reasonably stick with when things get terrifying. You also have to aggressively fight the urge to show off. Here's the crazy paradox of the guy in the $100,000 Ferrari. Wealth is what you don't see. When someone drives by in that Ferrari, literally nobody is actually admiring the driver. They are just imagining themselves in that driver's seat. Spending money to show people how much money you have is, without a doubt, the fastest way to have less of it. True wealth is the luxury watch you decided not to buy. It's the expensive dinner you skipped. It's the money sitting silently, working for you in an index fund. To really drive home the power of patient, quiet wealth, just look at this massive number, $156 billion of Warren Buffett's mind-blowing net worth. Over $156 billion came after his 65th birthday. No way, right? But he didn't get rich just by finding massive one-time lucky stock market wins. He got rich because he started when he was 10 years old, and he just never stopped. Extreme wealth is honestly just a solid return repeated for a very, very long time. Think of your investments like planting an oak tree. In year 1, it's just this tiny, fragile seed. It barely looks like it's doing anything at all. By year 10, okay, the tree looks pretty solid and established. But by year 50, it is a massive, unshakable force of nature, dominating the entire landscape. That is exactly how compound interest works on your investments. It massively rewards those who are endlessly patient, and it ruthlessly penalizes those who get antsy and constantly interrupts the compounding process. Ultimately, as a young professional really stepping into this world of finance, I need you to remember one crucial thing. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. You are not investing to buy a giant pile of stuff. Stuff isn't going to make you happy. You are investing to buy freedom over your own time. Controlling your time is absolutely the highest dividend that money pays. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. The path is sitting right in front of you. Understand true value, leverage your skills, let your investments compound quietly over decades, and master your own emotions. The question is, are you ready to stop playing the exhausting game of trying to look rich and start building the silent wealth that actually buys your absolute freedom? The choice is entirely yours.